Today we will be discussing the growing importance of the United States' southern neighbor in the drug war occurring. We will be talking about how it began, where it stands today, and how the future is looking. We will also be hearing responses from both countries. Starting with the border, the United States and Mexico settled on the location based on the Guadalupe-Hidalgo Treaty signed in 1848 at the end of the United States and Mexico War, and the Gadsden Purchase in 1853. The border is 1,969 miles from the Gulf of Mexico to the Pacific Ocean. It encompasses 4 United States states and 6 Mexican states. They are marked by signs or fences, or sometimes by barbed wire and steel barriers. Because of this, there has been an immigration problem from Central America. It was unknown in the hemispheric immigration until a decade of armed conflict in the 1980s. Mexico is the transit country for travelers going to the United States and Canada. There has also been a rise in transnational gangs and gang violence caused by immigration.
Thank you. Now we're going to discuss the United States' relationship with Mexico. The U.S. relationship with Mexico really isn't that good. The United States focuses on other places outside of North America instead of really focusing on Mexico. The United States neglects Mexico and doesn't understand how severe the situation really is. The Mexico's drug cartels and drug lords are highly dangerous, and they could attack us if they were prodded enough. Since President Calderon launched his war against drug trafficking organizations, the violence level has escalated to horrific levels, so the United States really needs to keep their Mexico relationship good to secure the safety of our people. Thanks. Now we're off to Sarah.
Like Taylor said, the U.S. and Mexico governments are working together to help stop the drug war. Treasury and other department agencies are collaborating closely with Mexico to analyze cross-border cash flows to try to distinguish legitimate activity from drug money transactions, as well as to support financial aspects of investigations by U.S. and Mexico law enforcement. Informants began working with associates of a major cocaine trafficker. The informants were also working with agents from the DEA. Overall, the U.S. and Mexican governments are working together to help stop the drug war by increasing their security.
Drug cartels, which are criminal organizations developed with the purpose of promoting and controlling drug trafficking, are a major problem in the Mexico drug war. Los Zetas, located in Mexico, is one cartel of many. Some others are the Gulf Cartel, La Familia Cartel, Juarez Cartel, Beltran Leyva Cartel, and the Tijuana Cartel. All of these cartels are located near or in Mexico and are trying to be stopped to help this drug war.
The U.S. is doing a lot to help stop the transfer of drugs from Mexico. In February 2011, the U.S. began sending unarmed drones to Mexico to collect intelligence. Then in August, the U.S. suspended their role in cross-border raids. The U.S. sent CIA operatives and retired military personnel to Mexican military bases. The U.S. trained federal agents to assist in wiretap interrogations. And also the U.S. ramped up security on its own side of the border to help stop the transfer of drugs from Mexico.
The drug war in Mexico is a big issue with the United States because we take a big role in it. 80 to 90% of cocaine in the United States comes from Mexico, and 40 to 67% of marijuana travels through Mexico and into the United States. The drug war is causing a major issue with violence in Mexico. Over 3,000 Mexican soldiers and police officers have been killed by cartels, and more than 26,000 people have gone missing in Mexico since 2006. Now that we've covered the basics of the U.S. and Mexican relationships and problems, we can move on to how the countries themselves are responding and where it stands today. First, we need to look at Mexico's presidents, past and present, how they're taking control of the situation.
Education is a major problem in Mexico. There have been instances where protests erupted and have caused many issues. Their first major legislative victory was a constitution amendment eliminating Mexico's practice of buying and selling teaching jobs and replacing them. Another problem that Mexico faces is drugs. Nieto says that he will mount a real fight against production and trafficking of marijuana. He also says that his administration will shift the nation's anti-crime strategy in a break from the U.S. backed campaign against drug cartels carried out under Felipe Calderon.
The Mexico-United States border is an international border that touches through Nogales, Mexicali, Ciudad Juarez, Nuevo Laredo, and Matamoros. It has a length of 1,996 miles and is the second most frequent number of both illegal and legal crossings per year. It is guarded by more than 20,000 border control officers, but has less than 700 miles of the 1996 miles in the total border properly protected. Now here's Emma to tell us more about the violence that occurs in Mexico.
The drug violence in Mexico has risen dramatically. Drug thugs in Mexico warn more violence is to come after pinning notes on victims with ice picks. Note said, "Warning, this is going to happen to all muggers, pickpockets, thieves of cars, homes, and walkers, as well as kidnappers, rapists, and extortionists." The citizens are afraid that this is going to continue. Now over to Joe to tell us more about Mexican police corruption.
Corruption. City cops killing their mayors. State jailers helping inmates make an escape, and officers being assassinated and ambushed because they work for gangster rivals. This is just the beginning of the corruption in Mexico's police force. Hi, I'm Jody Smith, and I'm here to talk to you about the corruption in Mexico. 90% of Mexico's 430,000 officers are state and local forces, and these forces find themselves outgunned and purchased outright by gangsters. Gangsters pass out $100 million each month for local and state officers. Anyone who wants to make a change in this corrupt system is quickly eliminated by gangsters. Now here's Lexi Moorhead to talk to you more about the security forces in Mexico.
Hello, I'm Lexi Moorhead, here to inform you about Mexico's armed forces. Mexico only spends about $6.7 billion a year on their defense, which would help to explain why they are ranked only 21st on the military power list. Here I have a comparison of the people that are available to fight compared to what the U.S. has. As you can see, there is a huge difference in numbers by about 100,000 people. If Mexico was attacked by a foreign country, say the North, they would not be able to defend themselves. If they were attacked from the South, however, they may be able to defend themselves. But if they can't even fight off their own cartels in their own country, how are they supposed to defend themselves from something else? Here's Matt to tell us about migration from Central America to America.
Most people who emigrate from Central America to Mexico travel on main roads. Other immigrants enter the country on a train. This train is known as the Train of Nightmares. With Mexico spending approximately $300 million on border crossings, you would think that they have a strong control over the flow of immigrants. But Mexico does not maintain a tight border between Central America and itself. Checkpoints along the main roads are often left unattended, rendering them useless. Coming up next, the United States response to corruption in Mexico.
In this segment, we ask the question, what exactly is the United States doing to combat violent cartels from our southern neighbors in Mexico? How can we cut down on drug-related deaths and drug trafficking? Our cameras take you inside a drug bust led by local police to show you exactly what's being done.
Martinez. You my contact? Yes, sir. Clark Harris, Narcotics Investigation. This is my partner Brian Bortz. He's the muscle. Do they suspect anything? No, man. They think I'm one of them. All right, let's do this. You ready? Yeah.
Is this the place? Yeah, they're inside doing a deal right now. I'm their bodyguard, so if you guys follow me in, you'll just be like one of their clients. Here's the 20 G's you wanted. Here's the stuff. Martinez. Who are these guys? Oh, they're new clients, man. They want to buy.
Yo, what's up, guys? We're looking to buy.
It's gonna cost, yeah.
Alright, gentlemen, you're both under arrest for illegal drug trafficking.
What? Martinez,
cap these fools! What you don't understand is Officer Martinez here is working for me.
My name's Officer Gino Martinez, Narcotics Division. You're under arrest. Can't believe we trusted you. Yet another successful drug bust.
What we've been doing is implanting agents undercover into the cartels to gather intelligence and learn to eliminate illegal drug trafficking. The Merida Initiative has helped our department with funding. However, we've had 45,000 federal troops dispatched, but Mexico is still the #1 source of marijuana in the U.S. The cartels have already made it into the cities far north of the border. Kathleen Kane made a statement, Mexican drug cartels are taking over our neighborhoods. Homeland Security needs to provide us with more resources to combat this issue.
Coming up, what exactly is being done in Mexico? What has the Calderon administration done to cut violence, and what policies have they put in place to slow down the spread of illegal drug trafficking? All that and more next.
We're going to start off with the classes of the Mexican cartels. The highest class is the drug lords, and they overlook everything that deals with the cartels. The next is the lieutenants, and they supervise territories assigned by drug lords. The hitmen are the army of the cartels, and the falcons monitor the street activities and reports to hitmen. The organization within the cartels allows for more killings every year. The cartels employ 1.5 million people and make up 3% of Mexico's annual gross domestic product. With this organized structure, there have been more killings every year the cartels stay in power. The United States has sent unarmed drones to gain intelligence on the drug cartels. Mexican government is experiencing corruption, causing the Mexican government to respond by sending more military into Mexican cities and towns. Cartels in power include Los Zetas, Sinaloa, and Tijuana. Excuse me, I'm Nicole Runko from the news, and I would like to ask your opinion about the Calderon administration's job in improving the Mexican drug cartel situation.
The Calderon administration has done a poor job keeping us safe.
Yeah, I mean, he implemented these policies that were a total waste of our money. Violence has skyrocketed, none gone down.
He has failed us!
Well, as you can see the citizens are not happy. The Calderon administration has not made a difference in the violence in Mexico. It has actually skyrocketed the violence by the cartels. Since this policy was implemented in 2006, the deaths caused by the cartels has increased by 700% by the end of 2011. Many arrests have taken place.
Hey, freeze!
I'm here with Officer Pokel and Officer Pitt. Officer Pokel, has law enforcement improved border security?
Border control has been improving year after year. Immigration enforcement is more secure now than it has been in decades.
Officer Piper, what exactly are these improvements?
We have 10 border drones, 300 towers, 21,000 agents, and over 650 miles of fencing covering the border. So we pretty much just maximized all our security to the illegal immigrants.
Alright, so we're about to make a drug bust. We think that the drugs are down here in the storage area, so we have to sneak past the kitchen windows so we're unspotted. We're going in.
Ready? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. We found many illegal substances in this location. We're taking the suspects in for interrogation to find out more about their drug deals.
Next, we have Mexicans' opinions on the country's outlook for future improvements.
Hello. You've heard about the problems that face Mexico, our neighbor to the south. Now, tonight, our experts explain what Mexico will be like in the next 10 years and whether or not this border war can be won.
I'm here with a law enforcement expert, and he's going to tell us a little bit about the police force in the future. In the next 10 years, do you think the police will still be corrupt?
Well, we see currently in the Mexican cartels, they're gaining a lot of power and money through their drug trade routes all throughout America. And with this gain in power and money, I can see them being able to sway the police force more and more throughout as the years progress.
What will the police force do to stop drug cartels?
Well, we see as the last couple of Mexican presidents have progressed through their terms that they've increased the police force, but sadly this has only increased crime as well. And the newest president has started increasing the police force a lot more drastically than the other presidents have, and even incorporating military into the local police force, but this is also taking away from some of the democracy in Mexico.
What problems do you think the police will face in the future?
With the power and money that the cartels are gaining, they're eventually moving into trading routes through lower parts of the United States. And this is increasing their power and trade even more. And if they can keep increasing with this power and money size, they're going to eventually be able to completely corrupt everyone in the government of Mexico.
How bad is the violence in Mexico today?
Well, right now, the estimated number of deaths due to the drug war is somewhere around 60,000, with one death every 8 minutes in Mexico. Additionally, monthly, it is estimated that there are around 1,200 deaths per month, resulting in the total, which has gone up severely since 2006.
How has the violence increased recently in Mexico?
Well, as of late, the death total has seen a drastic increase. For instance, back in 2006, the death total per month was somewhere around 200 to 300 murders, whereas in 2012, it was somewhere around 1,200 to 1,500. Also, the violence has seen a shift from the main part of Mexico to more border states.
Do you expect violence to increase in the next 10 years?
Well, in recent months, we've seen a slight decline in the amount of deaths, but that may be because of certain border laws that are being put into regulation by the United States, and we don't know if that's going to become a trend or not. Also, we're not entirely sure that these deaths are being reported when they happen because of the nature of the killings due to the drug war.
Hey! Freeze!
As previously stated, the current state of the Mexican police force and government are both very weak, so they really can't contend against the drug cartels currently. This could all change in 10 years, however, assuming that Enrique Pena Nieto's plan goes accordingly. In this plan, he states he wants to create a larger federal police force, as well as a paramilitary police force to help combat the drug cartels. But this could be very unlikely to happen because in his final terms, Felipe Calderon, the previous president of Mexico, seeks to do almost the exact same thing, including using military to combat the drug war. So, if Pena Nieto's plan goes in the same direction as Calderon's, who knows what the future can hold. Another key part of Nieto's plan is that the U.S. will not be able to intervene at all in the fight. So, thusly, I don't believe that Mexico will be able to reform the government on its own.
You have been charged with possession and distribution of illegal narcotics.
I plead not guilty to the following charges.
The court rules the defendant not guilty.
My opinion on the Mexican drug war is that it is a horrible thing that is currently happening in not only Mexico but also the United States. Obviously, it is costing the US and Mexico a lot of money. Housing prisoners is costing billions of dollars. Also, the war causes great deficits. Violence is another issue coming from this war and drug cartels. Drug cartels are fighting police forces and many brutal deaths result from this war. Between January and September of 2009, there were 5,874 drug-related murders in Mexico. Of the adult population in Mexico, 10.4%, totaling to 5.2 million people total, have used illicit substances at some point in their lifetime. There really is no end to all of this in sight.